The Killer's Guidebook. Detective Jameson stood in front of the crime scene, a look of disgust on his face. This was the fifth murder in as many weeks, and the killer seemed to be getting more brazen with each passing day. The victim, a young woman named Emily, lay in a pool of blood on the floor, her lifeless eyes staring up at the ceiling. Jameson surveyed the room, taking in every detail. The window was open, but there were no signs of forced entry. The room was in disarray, but there were no obvious signs of a struggle. The only clue was a small piece of paper on the floor, with the number 13 written in bold, black letters. As he examined the evidence, Jameson couldn't help but feel a sense of frustration. He had been working this case for weeks, and he was no closer to catching the killer than he had been on day one. But then, something caught his eye. A small, silver object lay on the dresser, glinting in the light. Jameson approached it cautiously, his heart racing. He recognized it immediately. It was a custom-made knife, the kind used by a notorious serial killer who had been active in the area years before. Jameson's mind raced as he considered the implications. Could this be the same killer, back from the dead? As he pondered this, his phone rang. It was his partner, Detective Sanchez. "We've got another one," she said, her voice shaking with emotion. "We've got another one." Jameson's heart sank. He knew that this meant the killer was still out there, and that he needed to act fast if he wanted to stop him. Over the next few days, Jameson and Sanchez worked tirelessly to track down the killer. They combed through records, interviewed witnesses, and followed every lead they could find. But despite their best efforts, the killer remained elusive. Finally, one day, Jameson received a break in the case. A witness had come forward, claiming to have seen a man matching the killer's description in the area around the time of the murders. The witness was able to provide a rough sketch of the man's face, and Jameson immediately recognized him as a former suspect in the previous serial killer case. Jameson and Sanchez quickly obtained a warrant and raided the man's apartment. They found him sitting at his kitchen table, calmly sipping a cup of coffee. When he saw the detectives, he didn't even flinch. Jameson and Sanchez searched the apartment, but they found no evidence linking the man to the recent murders. They were about to leave when Jameson noticed something strange, a book sitting on the man's bookshelf, with the number 13 written on the cover. As he pulled the book from the shelf, Jameson's heart began to race. He recognized the cover immediately. It was a rare edition of a book written by the previous serial killer. The book was said to contain hidden clues about the killer's identity and motives. Jameson flipped through the pages, his mind racing. He had to know if this man was the killer, or if he was simply a fan obsessed with the previous killer's crimes. As he read, he began to realize that the book was indeed a treasure trove of information. It contained detailed descriptions of the killer's thought processes, his motivations, and his techniques. But as Jameson delved deeper, he began to feel a sense of unease. The book seemed almost too detailed, too specific. It was as if the previous killer had written it himself, as a guidebook for his successor. Jameson felt a chill run down his spine.